Hello everyone. Today's topic is data. Means why do we use SQL? SQL ఎందుకు వాడతాం? SQL ఎందుకు వాడతాం అంటే to retrieve the data. To retrieve the data from the database. Okay. So basically data అంటే ఏంటి? Okay. We learn that first. Okay. First of all, we need the data of a pranav. అంటే pranav data కావాలి అంటే ఎలా తీసుకుంటాం? సో అంటే pranav డేటాని మనం దేంతో తీసుకుంటున్నాం అంటే సో వీఆర్ టేకింగ్ ద హోల్ డీటెయిల్స్ బేస్డ్ ఆన్ this name pranav. Okay, so what is this name? This name is nothing but ename, employee name. So he is an employee. So basically we take we retrieve the data, all the data through this ename. What is this? This is an attribute. Okay, so what is a data? Means first of all, data is a raw fact which describes column, which is described by column of an entity entity is nothing but this names Pranav, Ram, John, like this. Okay, so this is nothing but an entity. So we can call column as another name like attributes in SQL. So what is meant by data? Data is nothing but data is a raw fact which describes attributes of an entity. Okay, so data is a raw fact that describes attribute of an entity. Means we get the data through this attribute. Okay, so this is a data. This is nothing but a data. Okay, we have learned what is meant by data. Now we'll be learning what is meant by database. Okay, database is nothing but it is a place or a medium where we store the data systematically and organized manner. Means it is a place and it is symbolically represented in the form of cylinder in which we'll be storing the data in the form of tables. Okay, it is a place where we store all the tables in the systematic and organized manner. Okay, this is nothing but a database. It is a place to store the data and this performs some operations. That operations are called as CRUD operations. CRUD operations are nothing but C is nothing but create or insert the data. Means here with the help of these operations a programmer can create a table and he can insert the data. Okay, and R is nothing but read and retrieve. Read is nothing but here he can see the data. He can see the actual data which is there in that using a query language, using a query. Okay, and retrieve the data. He can get the data what he want using the query, and use nothing but update or modify. Means we can update the data which is there in the table. Means we can rename the table name, or we can change the salary. We can increase the salary, decrease it, or we can modify the constraints. Later we'll be learning that. And D is nothing but delete or drop. We can delete the data or we can drop the table entire. So this is nothing but database. Now what is meant by Now we'll be learning what is meant by DBMS. So DBMS is nothing but it is a database management system. It is an important feature in the database where this is a software. It is a software which is used to maintain and manage the data. Means this perform CRUD operations like create, read, retrieve, delete, update and modify. These are the operations which is done by the DBMS, like manage and maintain the database. So here in this database the files are stored, the data is stored in the form of files. Okay, the data is stored in the form of files. It is a traditional way, like it is not used nowadays. Like we could nowadays we are using the table form of data. Okay, and here we'll be using query language to communicate with the database. Means we are using a queries to communicate with database, and this offers security and authorization. And these are the two main important features provided by the DBMS. So these are the main 4 points. Okay, this is more important in the database. And we also have a new technology which is introduced before, which is nothing but RDBMS. Okay, this is RDBMS. RDBMS is nothing but a relational database management system. Okay, this is a software which is same like the DBMS which we have discussed earlier, but here the difference is in the DBMS we'll be storing the data in the form of files. Now we'll be storing the files in the form of tables. Okay, and here we'll be using query language to communicate with the database, and here we'll be using a structured query language to communicate with the RDBMS. And these both are same, like security and authorizations. These are the two features which are offered by RDBMS also. So this is nothing but the RDBMS which is used nowadays. Okay, so basically this is the difference between DBMS and RDBMS. So now DBMS is nothing but it is software which is used to maintain and manage the data, and here also to maintain and manage the data. And this is stored in the form of files. This stores in the form of tables. To communicate we'll be using query language. Here we'll be using SQL, structured query language. Here security and authorizations are provided by the DBMS. Even here also security and authorizations are provided by the RDBMS. Okay, this is called RDBMS, Relational Database Management System. It is a software, okay, which is used to manage the database and tables. Okay, this is RDBMS. We have finished learning RDBMS and DBMS. Now we'll be learning about what is meant by a table and what is meant by a cell. So here what is meant by a table is nothing but it is a logical arrangement of a rows and columns. So this is a table. It is a combination of a rows and columns. These are nothing but a columns and these are nothing but a rows. So here we'll be having a 3 rows and 2 columns, and here we'll be having 2 rows and 2 columns. This is a combination which is called a table. And here if you can see in Excel, if we highlight this sham in Excel, we'll be getting like a combination. So we have learned RDBMS and DBMS. Now we'll be learning what is meant by a table and a cell. So what is meant by a table is a logical arrangement of rows and columns. Means it is an arrangement of a rows and a columns. These are nothing but a columns and these are nothing but a rows. Okay, this is in the table. And what is in the cell? It is an intersection of a rows and columns where we enter data is called as a cell. Means here we have entered a data like Sham. This is a cell. It is an intersection of a rows and a columns. Okay, this is the intersection of the rows and columns. If you can check in the Excel, if you select any cell, you'll be getting a combination of the rows and columns. This is nothing but a cell. Now we'll be learning about rules that we have to follow while creating the table. Okay, that rules are called as EF code rules. EF code rules. EF code is a person who created these rules. Okay, there are 5 rules, 5 major rules. They are: first one, the DBMS data entered into a cell must be a single value. Like we have a cell and we are writing like 1 comma RAM. Okay, like here we can't write these two values in a single cell and we'll be getting a error. We have to write like this 1 and like this. So we have to take 2 cells. So basically the second rule is nothing but in RDBMS data is stored in the form of tables, including metadata is also be created here. Like metadata is nothing but the details about a data. Means a data is nothing but like if we have created a product, in metadata that details about the product will be there. Like the product contains a name, size and price. That will be there in the metadata. That is called metadata. Here metadata is created in meta table. That will be there in the table by creating the DBMS. Okay. According to EF code, the data can be stored in a multiple tables with the help of a key attribute. Means we can store multiple tables in the database. Like here we have created a like we have created an employee table and department table. Here a number, employee number, name, department number and department number. Like this will be lighting. So basically this department number is used in this department number, like a number 1, name Ram, department number 10, and he lives in Hyderabad. Like this it will be there, like 1 Ram 10. This is department number 10 and location Hyderabad. Like this. Like if write a query to display the location of a person whose name is Ram, like this it will be there. So these are nothing but the key attributes. Okay, these are nothing but the key attributes which is present in the different table, but that will be located to a department number, department table. These are the to attach two tables will be using key attributes. So this is according to EF code we store multiple tables with the help of key attributes. Okay, in RDBMS data entered into a cell must be validated. Means the data which we have entered that should be having some value, and that value is like that should be validated. That can be validated by 2 ways. They are a data type and by assigning the constants. Data type is nothing but while creating the table we have to use the data types like a number, varchar. Later we'll be learning that. And by assigning constants, means constants that also we'll be learning later. Like they are the constants like a prime number, foreign key, and unique, not null, and check. These are the constants. okay, will be using while creating the tables. These are the two important things which are used to validate the data in the table. Okay, these are the main four rules. These are the main four rules we have to use while creating the tables. Okay, these are nothing but EF code rule.